Thank you everyone for joining us today for the webinar with our partner today, Teleport, where you will learn how to grow your travel business with easy visas. While we wait for some more people to join, let me just introduce our partner today, Miss Nikita Dreswala. She is the CEO of Teleport, India's most trusted visa platform. Today, she is going to teach us about and educate us about how to, grow your travel business with, her like revolutionary visa solutions. Uh, our today's agenda will be focusing on the visa trends, addressing visa problems for travel agents, Teleport B2B visa platform Debo, and then we will have a dedicated section for the Q&A. And meanwhile, if you guys, Nikita, if you would you like to start now, or should we play the video again?
No, that's totally fine. We can get started. Ajay, I had one input for you. I cannot see the poll options on my screen.
Yes.
So if you could activate that. But otherwise, we could get started. And for people joining in late, let's just record it as well so that we can send it to them afterwards.
Right. You should be able to see the poll results. Polls
yes,
now.
Of course. Now I can. Yeah.
Right.
Great. Cool. Then can I get started?
Absolutely. Yeah. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ajay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on an afternoon 3 o'clock to attend this webinar. I'll try and make it as interesting and exciting for everybody who's come here and to help you understand how you can grow your business with visas. And I'll also talk a little bit more about Teleport, what we do, and how we can help you scale your visa business as well. I'll start with the presentation now. Like Ajay mentioned, we have 3 or 4 topics that we wanted to discuss today. I'll start with talking about the larger visa trends, what is happening in the visa world, what are the countries that are going visa free, what are the countries that have changed processes, which is good for everybody to understand here, especially when you have a lot of international customers. I'll then spend a lot more time talking about the visa problems that happen for customers, for travel agents. And then I'll talk a little bit more about Teleport, what we do, how we help you with visas. And I'll keep the last 10-15 minutes for Q&A. But let's get started. I just first wanted to give you a quick, quick introduction of Teleport. So we are a Bangalore-based company. We help with travel visas across the globe for any country that you want to. We do almost 40 plus countries today, which we cover all the major countries. We do tourist visas and we do business visas. And we have offices in 3 locations. So we have our Bangalore office, which is our headquarters, but we also have offices in Mumbai and Delhi, and we are very soon opening up a Chennai office as well. So if you have any, if you want to ever come and meet us at our office, we're happy to host you there as well. But having said that, let's get started. I'm going to spend the first few minutes talking about the visa trends. But before we do that, I just wanted to do a quick poll for all the attendees of the webinar today in terms of which country do you see the maximum demand for visas. So let me just quickly start the poll, and we'll wait for a few responses. We'll wait for 15 to 20 seconds before we publish the poll results. I hope everybody is able to see the poll on their screen. Great. I'm going to wait for last 5 seconds and then publish the results for everybody to see. Great. Let me end the poll now. I think we have enough responses. So the answers that we've gotten for everybody on the call is the maximum volume people are seeing is for Europe, which is 44%, followed by UAE, which is 21%. Followed by US, which is, so US is before that, US is 29%, which makes sense. This is a season for Europe, a lot of people traveling for the summer to Europe. And I think over the next, 40 minutes, I'll talk a lot about Schengen visas as well, and how we can help you simplify Schengen as well as some of these other countries. But let's move on. Let's look at some of the visa trends and actually show you which country has the most demand in terms of visas. So the highest number of visas that Indians get issued is for UAE. So there are almost 20% of all the visas issued across India is for UAE, followed by United States and UK, and then going to a lot of these Schengen countries. Let's also talk about the overall trends for outbound tourism. So in India, the India outbound travel market is going to be 42 billion by 2024. However, the more interesting aspect of this is more than 100 million Indians have passport issued in the last 10 years, which means a lot of Indians are going to be doing outbound travel in the next few years. So if you've not been focusing on outbound travel, this is the right time to focus on outbound travel and grow business there. Let's also look at visa trends and look at which are the countries which have seen the highest amount of rejection in the last few years. The biggest one still remains US. US has a rejection rate of almost 30%, followed by the Schengen region, which has about 18%, followed by some of the other countries like UAE and UK. The top reasons that we've seen over the last few years that we've been doing visas is financial. So if you have inadequate bank balance, you do not have enough income tax declared in your income tax returns, or then there are insufficient documentation that you have provided to the embassy, leads to rejections. And there are ways we can solve these problems as well. So towards the second half of this presentation, I'm going to spend a lot more time on visa rejections and how we can reduce these rejections as well. Let's look at some of the other trends. We wanted to cover some news aspects. I think there's a lot of confusion about a lot of countries, whether it is visa-free, whether it is not visa-free. So let's talk about few countries which went visa-free last year, or there is news about them going visa-free, and what is the current status of those countries. Malaysia went visa-free last year. It is still visa-free. However, there is an arrival card that you need to obtain 3 days before the travel date. Malaysia also will be visa-free only until the end of the year. So if you have passengers who are going to travel after 2024, Malaysia will reintroduce visas. So please be careful if you're applying for these or for Malaysia for next year. You should inform the customers that the visa-free is only until the end of the year. Then there are countries like Kenya, which the news that is going visa-free, it has actually not gone fully visa-free. It has been replaced by something called as an ETA, which is also like a visa, but it's a cheaper visa and it comes through faster. So Kenya, again, not visa-free. It is moved from visa-free to something called as an electronic travel authorization. Iran, on the other hand, is one country that has actually gone visa-free. So if you have passengers who are looking for a new country to travel to and do not want to get into visa hassles, Iran is one of the countries that you can suggest to them. There are a couple of other countries you can suggest to them if they don't want to get into hassle of applying for visas. One is Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka again was visa free only until 31st March. However, they have now moved to two visas, but there are two options. You can either apply for an e-visa, which you can apply directly on the visa platform or through us, or you can get a visa on arrival at the airport as well. So if you have customers traveling to Sri Lanka, even if they go on the airport, there might be longer queues there. So if they want to avoid a longer queue, they should apply for an e-visa. But otherwise, they can get a visa on the airport. Thailand, on the other hand, has now extended its visa-free entry for another 6 months. So until the 11th of November of this year, Thailand will still be visa-free. So again, if you have customers who want to travel to visa-free countries or easy visa countries, Sri Lanka, Thailand are a couple of countries which have now become, easy visas or visa-free. Let's look at some of the other trends. There are countries, again, this has been in the news, so a lot of people get confused whether it's actually visa-free or not. Are two countries, Indonesia and Vietnam. Both of them are planning to go visa-free in 2024, but they've not given a date yet on when they'll go visa-free. So if you have customers traveling to Indonesia or Vietnam, right now you have to apply for a visa. So please ensure in the next few months, if they are traveling, you apply for their visas. And as soon as they go visa-free, you can also join. We have a WhatsApp community where we keep giving a lot of visa updates. I'll ask the team to share the link to the WhatsApp community after this webinar as well. Please feel free to join the WhatsApp community. Every time a country goes visa free or there is some news relating to visa, we keep updating on that. We keep updating about that on our WhatsApp community so that you can inform to your customers as well. The last couple of pieces of news that I wanted to discuss was around Schengen and US. So Schengen, there are two new countries that have gotten added to the Schengen region recently. One is Romania, the other is Bulgaria. So now that if you have a Schengen visa for Romania or Bulgaria, or even if you have for any other Schengen country, you can now travel with that Schengen visa to Romania and Bulgaria as well. Both of these countries are extremely unexplored right now, so these are good countries if you want, if your customers want to explore something that's very, very new and where there are fewer passengers traveling to. Then there's Japan. Japan also was in news recently, where there was a news that Japan is moving to e-visas. Honestly, this news is not entirely true. While Japan, the visa copy has moved from a sticker visa to an e-visa, the process in itself is still very, very VFS led. So customers or the agent will have to go and submit the document at the VFS center, but instead of a visa stamp on your passport, you will get an e-visa. So again, if customers are traveling to Japan, please plan well in advance. Japan visa takes anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks, and it's not an e-visa. Physical passport needs to be submitted to the VFS center. So this news, while it's true to some extent, it's not fully e-visa yet. Let's move to US. I think a lot of people reach out to us for US visas and getting US visa appointments. Honestly, it's still a big pain to get US visa appointments. Even now, the waiting period is about 1 year. However, the good news is that the US consulate is planning to open up more centers. So very soon, they're going to start a center at Bangalore. They're going to start a center at Ahmedabad, and once these centers open up, the expectation is that the appointment slot duration will come down. In the meanwhile, if you have customers who require urgent visas or urgent appointments, you can always reach out to our team as well. We can help you get some of these appointments. I'll also talk a little later about how to get faster US appointments. The last piece of news that we have is on Schengen visas. I think this is the most exciting piece of news that has come in the last year. Schengen visas are soon going to get digital. So the EU Council, which is the council which the entire Schengen visa process, has now decided that they're going to make the process more online instead of offline. However, this has not happened yet. The timeline that the EU Council has given is 2026. By 2026, they're going to launch a new platform on which all the Schengen visa applications will be done. And once this goes live, Schengen visas will become much more faster, much more easier. Again, feel free to join our WhatsApp community. As soon as this goes live, we'll keep sending updates on what the process is, how is it going to become online. So now let's focus on how do we really get these visas, right? One is what's happening in the market, but how do you get visas? And before getting into how do we get visas, I also want to talk a little bit about why are visas critical to your business, especially for all of you who are not focusing on visas yet. So like I was saying earlier in this presentation, the number of Indians traveling internationally has been increasing significantly. There are 26 million Indians who travel internationally each year. 80% of the people we spoke to, as when we were doing our research and when we speak to customers, they end up struggling with the visa process, and more than 70% end up going to travel agents to solve for visas. The other interesting part is visa is very early in the process. So today, even before booking flights and hotels, a customer first wants to get their visa done, and it's a good point for you to enter and get business from this customer. So while visa may be time consuming, post visas you'll be able to get more business through flights and hotels. So if there are any of you on this call who are not focusing on visas is one part of the travel which is a big pain point for a lot of end customers. And it's also most of the agents that we've spoken to and most of the travelers we've spoken to charge anywhere between 500 to 2,000 rupees per visa, depending on the country and complexity. So for simple e-visas, we've seen agents charging anywhere closer to 500. For more complicated visas, we've seen agents charging 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. So if you're not doing visas, it's also a good source of monetization to grow your business. I'll also want to do a quick poll before we talk about how to get visas. For all of you who already do visas, I just wanted to understand, how are you processing some of these visas? Are you doing it in-house? Are you outsourcing it? Or are you doing a mix of self and some bit of outsourcing? So I've run the poll now. You can see it on your screen. I'd love to understand whether you're doing it in-house, you're outsourcing it, or are you doing it a quick mix of both. I'm going to wait for a quick 20 to 30 seconds and then publish the results of the poll. Okay, let me go ahead and end the poll and also share the results. I think there's an interesting mix of people who said things. So the largest chunk is 52%, where people have said they do some of them themselves, some of them they outsource. There are about 25% people who said that they do it fully in-house, and about 22% people who said some bit outsourcing, fully outsourcing, right? So for all of you that outsource visas or outsource some of their visas, I'll also talk a little later about how we can help you with some of these visas. For people who do it on their own as well, I'll give a quick introduction about Teleport and see if we can help you on some of the visa challenges that you have through what we've built at Teleport. So let me go ahead at this point and talk a little bit about Teleport and what we do. So Teleport, we are a visa platform, like I mentioned. We do 40 plus countries. We have a very, very high approval rate. We do almost 98% approval rate across all our visas. And the reason we are able to do such high approval rates also is we have a very consulting-led model where we help the user or help the agent understand what will lead to approval of the visa and ensure that we have proper end-to-end document collection, verification of all the documents that are being submitted. Also, we have we usually mention the time it takes to process visas, and we meet the SLA that we commit to you. And the pricing on the platform will be much lower than some of the other partners you would be working with today. Let me also talk a little bit about some of the companies that we have worked with. So we work with a bunch of travel agents. We also work with larger companies like Make My Trip, TravelClan to help process their visas. Like I was mentioning earlier, we have 3 branches. So we have our headquarters at Bangalore, and we have offices in Mumbai, Delhi, and in Chennai. We'll have one soon. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our Bangalore team, or you can also reach out to our Mumbai or Delhi team for any help that you need on visas. You can also go to our website. I'll show you a little bit about how our website works during the second half of this presentation as well. Let's move ahead. I'll talk about why to use Teleport. I get this question very often about how Teleport helps and how is Teleport different. Teleport helps with a bunch of things on for you to solve for visas. We help you in filling out the forms. The moment you upload documents, we'll auto read, so you don't have to manually type in any details. We help you in generating documents. So our team will work on your itinerary. If you do not have flight hotels, you need help on the flight hotel side, we'll do that. We help you with your cover letters, leave letters. So end-to-end documentation, we help you with it. We give you real-time notifications on appointments, on what is the visa status. We have a dedicated relationship manager. So once you sign up on the platform, you'll have a dedicated relationship manager who will be your point of contact for all the problems that you face on Teleport. We also have dedicated expert teams. Our entire operational team at Teleport is from either VFS, BLS, or some of these companies. So they come with a lot of experience on visas, and we'll assign you somebody from the team who can help you with all the questions that you would have while applying for your visas as well. So that's on teleport. There's one interesting piece of interesting piece of news we had as a part of this webinar that we're doing. We have created a voucher code for all people attending the webinar. So we have a 2,500 rupees voucher. I will ask the team to post it on the chat in the next few minutes. And while you're making the payment on the platform, you can use that voucher code and you can get a discount of up to 2,500 rupees when you sign up on teleport. Let's go ahead, and I want to do one last poll to understand what are the biggest problems you face when you're applying for visas. So the second half of this presentation, now that we've reached at it, I just want to talk about how do you solve some of these problems. But before I help in solving some of those problems, I want to run this poll to understand what are those problems. Is the bigger problem finding enough information on visas? Is the problem getting appointments? Is the problem all the documentation, cover letter, leave letter, flights, hotels, itineraries? Or the biggest problem is visa delays and rejections? And depending on what the answer is as a part of this poll, I will try and spend more time on that problem and try to give you as many solutions as I can to solve for it. Okay, we have a few responses. I'm just going to wait another 5 to 10 seconds before we go ahead and publish the results of the poll. Okay, let me end the poll now. So there's a clear winner in terms of problems. 55% of the people have responded that getting appointments with VFS embassy is the biggest problem. And then between the other three, I think it's an equal mix between hard to find information and documentation and visa delays and rejections. So let me, what I'll do is I'll talk about each of these problems, but I'll try and spend more time on appointments and how can we solve the appointment issue as well, right? So let's go ahead and first talk about finding right information. I think a lot of the biggest problem I see with users is especially when we go to VFS center, we meet a lot of travelers. We've realized is they do not have documents in place. The reason they don't have documents in place is because they don't know what is the checklist. The checklist has changed. It's been updated. They've not been able to find information. And then they go there and spend the entire day at the submission office. Or sometimes they end up applying online and they miss out on 1 or 2 documents. Their visa gets rejected and they don't even know why the visa was rejected. So let me tell you how we can solve this problem. So the only way to find the right information about how to apply for a visa, the best way is to go to the embassy official website. So if you search, let's say if you want to apply for a France visa, go to the Consulate of France in India website. They will list down all the information. Even if they have not listed down all the information, they will tell you where to find the information. So let's say if the Embassy of France is working with VFS, they'll provide the link to the VFS website where you can find all information. So the only correct way to find information is either to go to the website of the embassy or their social media handles. We've seen a lot of times embassy keeps giving update on their social media, Twitter handles, but people miss out on it because nobody is using the social media or following the social media handles of the embassy. The other, like I said, is the authorized partner websites, which is going on, the official VFS website and finding information there. However, what we've done at Teleport is we made it very simple for you to find all the information in one single place. So at this point, let me also quickly share my screen and I'll show you how you can find information on Teleport as well. So I'll share my screen.
Nikita, yeah.
Yeah. I hope everybody is able to see my screen and I'll show you how you can find information on Teleport also. So once you come on the Teleport website, so this is our website, you can sign up as an agent. So if you come as an agent, I'm already logged in. Otherwise, if I'm not logged in, I can always come in and register here. Once you register, you will find information for all the countries on our page. So let's say you have a customer traveling to, let's pick up a simple country like UAE. So you have a customer traveling to UAE, you can find all the information about UAE. What are the different visa types? It's a single entry visa, it's a multi-entry visa. What is the stay duration? What's the processing time? What is the cost? If you look at details, you'll also find what is the teleport fee, what is the actual embassy fee for these visas, and you'll find all the different visas that are issued. So you can find the type of visa here. If you go next, you can also find information on the document checklist. So UAE is very simple. You just require 3 documents. We need the passport front, back, and we need the photograph. You can also download the checklist from here and share it to the customer. You can also actually share it from the platform itself. So let's say you have a customer who's asking you details for UAE visa. You can just click on share code. You can add your markup. Let's say you want to add a 500 rupees markup. You can add the markup. You can put the customer name. So let's say I want to send a code to Nikita. I'll just put all of these details here, and I can click on WhatsApp and it directly opens in web WhatsApp. If I don't want to do that, I can just copy details from here and post it on my WhatsApp group or to the customer who's asking for details. And you can always, because I'm from Teleport, I've written Teleport, but you can, when you log in, you'll be able to see your name and your phone number here, so that there's no mention of Teleport anywhere in the message that goes to the customer as well. So this is a very simple way to find all the information. If you decide, let's say you want to apply through Teleport, you can also complete the whole application on the platform. Since we are on this page, I'll also show you how to apply for visas on Teleport. It's very simple. You can just come on to our website. Once you decide you want to do a 30-day single entry, you start an application on the platform, and there are 3 to 4 steps. So we'll ask you for the travel date of the customer. Let's say the customer is traveling on 21st June to 22nd June. You mention the travel date so that we know that the visa will come in on time or not. Once you give us the travel dates, there are a few other data points that we will need, and we honestly try and ask you as little information as required. So you can just come in. We need the passport of the customer. So you can, let me just quickly upload one passport that I have saved on my system. So let's say I'm applying for Sunny. I can just come in and upload his passport on the platform. Now what the platform is doing is we are auto reading all the details. So you don't need to manually fill in all the details that are there on the platform. You can also upload the back page of the customer here itself. It takes about 5 to 10 seconds, but what our system will do is we will auto read the passport, so you don't have to fill in any details. You can add multiple travelers also here. Let's say you have a family traveling, you can do that. You can verify all the details, and that's about it. You go to the next page. So there are 3 steps that we have. One is uploading the passport. Then we have a section for visit details. If there's anything more that we require from the customer for the purpose of visa, we will ask that information on our visit details section. So for UAE, it's a very simple visa. We just need to know what is the employment status. So moment you say, hey, this person is employed, you can come in, you can verify again that all the details here that you filled in are correct. And that's about it. The last step for you for a UAE visa is to come in and upload the documents. So like I was saying, for UAE, we'll require the passport, the photograph of the user. So you can just come in and upload all of these information here. You can also come in and upload these details later if you want to, if you don't have all the information now. And that's about it. You come on the next step, you can make the payment. Moment you make the payment, our team gets a notification, and then our team takes care of the rest of it. So once you make the payment, you don't need to do anything. You just sit back, relax. Our team will look at all the documentation. If there is any mistake, if there is anything that is missing, our team will call you back. If you want to reach out, you can always reach out to our team on our support numbers also. But otherwise, you can come on your dashboard and you can find the details of all of the visas that you applied. So you will see fully all the statuses, whether it's under review, whether the appointment is booked, whether it's at the embassy. So all the details that you see here you'll get updates. You'll get updates on WhatsApp. You will get updates on your email as well. And that's about it. So this is how you can apply on the platform. It's a very simple tool to use. If you still have questions, you can always reach out to our team as well. We have a WhatsApp chat support. We also have a phone number. You can reach out to us any day from Monday to Saturday, from morning 10 to like evening 7 o'clock. And we also have our sales team. So I'll ask the sales team also to put in their numbers in the chat, so that if you have any questions, you can also reach out to our sales team and they can help answer all the queries that you have. So let me stop sharing my screen, go back to the presentation. Ajay, can you start sharing the presentation again? Yes, thank you so much. So that's how you find information. Like I was showing you how you can find it on Teleport. So if you don't want to go to the embassy websites or authorized partner websites, just come on our platform. You'll find all the information. You can download all the checklists. You can share it with the customers as well. Let's look at the next problem, which is paperwork. There is a lot, depending on the country you are applying to, there will be a lot of documentation. I showed you UAE, which is one of the simplest visas to apply for. But let's say if you're applying for Schengen, you're applying for UK, US, Australia, there's a lot of paperwork. And there are some tips that we have from our end on how you can simplify the paperwork for all of the customers, and how you can ensure that the visas don't get rejected because of the paperwork. So one is, I think, the most important document, especially when you're applying for Schengen visas or a UK Australia visa, is your cover letter. Please ensure that the cover letter is as detailed as possible. A lot of times we see people using very generic cover letters. Always ensure that you're mentioning the purpose of travel, who the customer is traveling with, mention their clear itinerary, where are they going to stay, when are they going to depart, when are they going to come back, as well as their employment details. And just in case if there are some documents that are missing, that is not being submitted, you mention it in the cover letter and explain why you don't have it, because a lot of times embassy rejects your visa because they don't find all the documentation. So if, let's say, the customer doesn't have income tax return for some reason, please explain it in the cover letter. Otherwise, high chances of visa getting rejected. Also check for all the errors in the documentation. A lot of times visas we've seen getting rejected because there's a small mistake in filling out the form. So always double check the form that you're filling in. How Teleport also helps is, on our website, when you're downloading the checklist, we have formats for all of the documentation. So if you go and download the checklist for France from our website, you will see formats for cover letter, leave letter, all of it. If you're not applying with us, if you're applying with us, you don't need to worry at all. Just come in, upload the passport of the customer and fill in the visit details. Our team will draft a very, very detailed cover letter, invitation letter. Let's say an NOC is required from the employer, our team will draft it. So you don't need to worry about drafting documents if you're applying with Teleport. In case you aren't, you can always draft. You can just download our checklist and look at the drafts there and use it for all your customers. Let's look at, let me spend some time here, since I know a lot of you spoke about appointments and how much of a pain it is to get appointments. Honestly, there is no magical way to get appointments. It's a problem which has been there ever since COVID, where a lot of countries' visa appointments have been becoming harder and harder to get. Let me talk about countries which have no appointment issues. So there are 3 countries which have appointments, which have 0 appointment issues. So if you have passengers traveling to these countries, or if a passenger wants to travel to some country where you want to ensure that visa will not be an issue, there are 3 countries. One is Japan, the other is Turkey, the third is UK. All these 3 countries have 0 issues with appointment. You will get an appointment in the next 1 week. So do not worry about appointments for these countries. Places where appointments are a challenge, there are 2 large bucket of countries. One is US, the other is Schengen. For US, the best way to get appointments is first checking late hour slots. We've seen appointment slots opening up in 2 in the night, 3 in the night. So if there's something very, very urgent, a customer wants to travel, you want to do it on your own, late hour is the best way to find US slots. The other option for US slots is if the customer is willing to travel to another country for appointment. So as an Indian passport holder, you can travel to any country in the world and get a US visa appointment. Countries like Singapore, Dubai have appointment slots easily available. So if a customer is planning to travel there, he can get a US slot there. If it's a very urgent travel, he can actually plan travel there and submit his visa documentation, do his visa appointment there. The other last way to get a visa appointment is to work with a lot of travel agents who get you these appointments. So there are agents who know when these slots open up, they are able to get you these slots, so they will work around on these late hour slots, find you appointments for US. If you want, our team can also help you. You can go on Teleport and you can find for US visa. How do you get appointments? If you want a fast track appointment, our team can also help you with the fast track appointment, where we work with our partners to get you that appointment. Schengen, there are 2-3 options how you can get a faster appointment. One is there's something called as visa at your doorstep. Now, in this visa at your doorstep, the cost of visa is an additional 8 to 9,000 rupees. But what VFS will do is they will come to your house, or they will come to a designated place, and they will do all your visas for you. They will come in, they will do the biometrics there. So if you have a large group traveling and you're not finding appointments, visa at your doorstep is an interesting way to get appointment for your customer. It's not available for all Schengen countries. You can go on the VFS website. In their additional services section, you'll be able to see whether there is a visa at your doorstep available or not. The other option, if the customer travel itinerary is not fully fixed, is to opt for shorter wait duration countries. There are some countries where it's easier to find appointments. France is one of them. Netherlands is another country where we found appointments. Switzerland, we found appointments in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So these are countries where appointments are easier to find. There's another interesting country, Sweden, where now they've started allowing walk-in appointments. So let's say it's a very urgent visa, customer is willing to travel through Sweden. Sweden has a walk-in appointment option available at all VFS centers. So you can also opt for Sweden as a country. And then the only other hack that we have found is for logging in daily to find these appointment dates. So a lot of times people cancel 1 or 2 days before the appointment date. So a lot of times you'll not find appointment like 5 weeks from now, but if you just go in the evening slots, you'll find an appointment, 1 or 2 appointments just available for the next day. So that's another way we've found appointments for some of our customers. Again, if you're using Teleport to book your visas or to help your customers, do not worry, our team will find out ways to get you an appointment and ensure that the visa comes through on time. So if you're doing it through Teleport, the relationship manager that you have will find you appointments for all of these countries. But there are ways, like we've anyways, now peak summer is over, so we're seeing a lot of slots in Schengen also opening up. Appointments are not as much of a problem now. Now let me focus on the last problem for today. And post discussing this problem, I'm going to also open up Q&A. So if there are people who have any questions, please post it right now itself. And I'll try and answer as much as I can towards the last 10 minutes of this presentation. So let's focus on visa delays and rejections, and how do you ensure that you get approvals for your customers in the first go. Like I was saying at the start of this presentation, looking at your documentation, our team will know whether this is going to get rejected or not, right? Because there are very simple ways for you to identify whether this visa will get approved or not. There are some countries which are easy visas. They will, whether you have bank balance, don't have bank balance, doesn't matter. Let's say you are applying for Vietnam, you are applying for even UAE, any of the Middle East countries, your bank balance doesn't matter. The approval rate with Teleport is 100%. Let's say you're applying for Schengen countries, Australia, New Zealand, UK, the rejection rate is very high. The reason for rejections is largely financial. If the embassy feels you do not have enough savings, enough money in your bank account to sponsor your own stay, or they feel you will not come back to India, they will reject it. So there are simple things you can do to ensure that you don't get a rejection. One is having enough bank balance. We recommend anywhere between 1.5 to 2 lakhs whenever you are applying for a Schengen or a UK visa. Also, this bank balance has to be consistent. Please do not put money in your bank right before your appointment. Moment you do it, the embassy realizes you put this money for the purpose of the visa, they will reject this visa. So consistent 3 to 6 month balance of around 2 lakh rupees is very important when you're applying for some of these countries. Also, not having income tax returns lead to rejection. So if you have customers who do not have income tax returns, or let's say they do not have enough bank balance, what can you do, right? In such cases, you need to ensure that you're getting the customer sponsored by somebody else. So let's say somebody in the family has more bank balance, has income tax returns filed, get them to sponsor the trip of the passenger. If that is not possible, explain in detail in your cover letter why do you not have enough bank balance, and submit additional documents. Like countries like UK, you can submit your investment proofs. So you may not have enough money in your bank, but let's say you have enough deposit in your mutual funds, you have real estate, you can show that. For country like UK, bank balance also, apart from bank balance, it's also important to show in case there are too many deposits and withdrawals of large amounts happening in your bank balance. It's important to even explain that in your cover letter so that you don't get rejected. We've seen rejections happening if you have sudden deposits, withdrawals, and if embassy doesn't know what they are, they will most likely reject this visa as well. So always ensure that you have enough bank balance, you have your income tax returns in place, you are not doing any last minute deposits in your bank account. The other reason we've seen, especially for Schengen countries, is on-hold flight and hotels. There are some countries which are okay with not having fully booked flight hotels, right? UK, for example, you do not require your flight hotels. So even if you're doing dummy, it doesn't matter. France also is one of the countries which doesn't specifically, they call it out in their checklist that it doesn't have to be a confirmed booking. So that is also okay. But for a lot of other Schengen countries, it's important that you have fully booked flights and hotels, because if the embassy realizes this is a dummy ticket, there are chances that they will reject the visa. So especially customers who have low financial balances, always ensure that you're booking proper flights, hotels for all the Schengen specific Schengen countries where it's important that you're booking, where it's compulsory to book proper hotels and flights. Last thing we have seen rejections happening is mistakes in the visa application form. Your name, like one letter is wrong, passport number, one number is up and down. Your visa will get rejected and you'll have to unnecessarily reapply just for a small mistake. So always ensure you're double checking all the information that you're filling in the application form to ensure that the visa doesn't get rejected. Again, when you are teleport, you don't have to worry about a lot of these things. When you submit your documents, our team will thoroughly review all these documents. If we feel that document, the money is not enough in the bank account, or there are problems with the income tax returns, we'll give you alternative solutions on how to solve for it. We will draft proper cover letters to explain some of these things. So if you're applying with teleport, we will ensure all of this is taken care of. But if you're applying on your own, please ensure that you're looking at all of these 4 to 5 points and you're not making any mistakes here. But that's it in terms of all the problems that we've covered. This is just some of the testimonials of customers we've worked with and how we've helped them solve for their visas. I'll move ahead. I'll not spend too much time here. And since we have very little time, we have about 15 minutes. I wanted to save some time for the Q&A and take any questions that all of you would have on visas. And I'll try and answer to the best of my knowledge. So I think we'll start with Q&A. I have Rishi from my team also who's on this call. Rishi, do you want to unmute yourself and ask some of the questions that have been put in the Q&A section?
Nikita, you will have to read through the questions and answer those.
Got it. I'll do it. Let me do it. I was just anyways reading through some of the questions that are there. Portugal visa is going to Goa interview mandatory. I'll check this, Terence. Usually, if you are from Goa, then Goa is mandatory. If it's Maharashtra, then you'll have to do it through Maharashtra. But getting Portugal appointments in the last few months is becoming very difficult. I'll ask our team to come back to you on whether you have to go to Goa or whether you can do it from any other location as well. So there's a question from Kruti on Indonesia to apply beforehand to avoid queues. Kruti, you can actually apply on teleport. it's a very simple e-visa process. So it comes through in 1 day. So if you apply today on teleport, you will get it by tomorrow at max. But you should do it beforehand. Unnecessarily, sometimes we've seen immigration creates issues on visa on arrival. So it's always better to get e-visa done instead of getting visa on arrival for Indonesia. There's a question from Sabira Begum on whether we reach out to the customer. Sabira, we do not reach out to the customer. We do not even ask you for customer phone number, email ID on most of our visas. So at any given point of time, we will not have customer numbers. There are only a few countries where it's compulsory to put a customer number, and otherwise, we feel the visa can get rejected. So countries in the Schengen region, we ask for the customer number because the form asks specifically for the customer number to be put there. Sometimes the embassy also calls the customer with more questions. So we prefer putting customer's number, and that's the only country where Schengen is the only country where we collect customer number. But otherwise, we do not reach out to the customer ever. And we don't even collect their information. So be rest assured, we will not, since we don't have information, there's no way we will reach out to the customer also. For US appointment, there's a question from Usha. Usha, you can actually go on to useteleport.com. You can search for United States. You will see what are the prices. You will see what is the process for fast track. If you don't want to do fast track, if the customer is okay with the appointment 1 year later, you can just do a normal visa and we can help you with the process. Then within a period of okay, sorry. So I'll answer this question from Bhavin. So Bhavin has asked how much time will we take to book the slots for USA? Bhavin, it's a very good question. So for fast track appointments, it takes us anywhere between 15 to 20 days to book you an appointment slot, because these appointment slots are not freely available. Moment there is some cancellation, we will book for your customer. So it will take us some time to get it. It's not like if you give us today, we'll get it tomorrow. You'll have to give us at least a 15-day window to book an appointment. However, let's say it's a very, very urgent case, just reach out to our team. We'll reach out to our partners, ensure that we try and get you sooner. But usually we will get you an appointment within 15 days, and the appointment will be in the next 1 to 1.5 month timeline. So if you're applying on June 10th, we'll ensure that the appointment that you get is before mid-July to late July. We do not usually delay beyond that. Then there is a question from Davinder Kaur. How can I get an update on visa being approved or rejected? Do you guys have any way to find out if the visa is approved or not? Davinderji, there is, if it's an e-visa, then we will get an update on whether it is approved or rejected, and we will upload it on our platform. Moment it gets uploaded on your dashboard, you will get a WhatsApp, you will get a email from our customer support team saying that this visa has been approved, and you can just download the copy from there. For Schengen, it is not possible, because for Schengen countries, what happens is the customer goes for an appointment, and the courier goes from the VFS center directly to the customer. So it's very difficult for us to know whether the visa is approved or rejected in Schengen cases. But it only comes directly from the customer, or sometimes it comes from our travel partners. They let us know whether it's approved or rejected. But for all the other countries apart from Schengen, our team will know whether the visa is approved or not, and we'll give you the visa. We'll give you the visa copy on the platform and on your WhatsApp and email ID as well. There's a question from Kavita ji on whether we can help with Australia and New Zealand. Yes, Kavita ji, we can help you with both Australia and New Zealand. Both of them are e-visas, which is good, so that you can just upload the documents on our platform. Our team will review all of the documents. We will draft your cover letters, leave letters, everything, and we will submit it to the embassy. The customer doesn't need to go anywhere for Australia and New Zealand appointments. Then there's a question again from Davinder ji, who does the passport submission or wherever there is no personal presence required. Davinder ji, we will do the submission where a person doesn't need to go. So you'll just have to send us the documents either to our Mumbai, Bangalore, or our Delhi office. Our team will ensure that we go and do the submission. And we also return the passport directly to you. Or if you want us to send it directly to the customer, you will have to give us the customer address, and we'll courier it directly directly from VFS to the customer location or from our office to the customer location. Then there's a question from Rashmikant ji on, can we apply for Japan visa for a student studying in the UK? Rashmikant ji, this is difficult right now on teleport. Currently, we work on Indian passport holders who are based in UK. Japan especially requires physical submission to the VFS center or to the embassy. So since we do not have presence in UK, we will not be able to help you for a customer who is based in the UK. In case the customer is in India for some time, we can do the Japan visa for him from India. Question from Davinder ji again, would we charge additionally for earlier appointment? Yes, sir. We usually charge a fee for earlier appointment. If there is no early appointment, we charge about 2,000 odd rupees for doing the visa. In case you want a fast track appointment, then we charge roughly 20,000 rupees to get you that faster appointment. Then there's a question from Avinash ji, is there a fast track service available? Avinash ji, it depends from country to country. There are some countries like US, for example, there is fast track option available. UAE, there is an express appointment available. So depending on the country, there will be an option of a normal visa or a express visa. You can check on our website. You will see the number of days for a fast track visa and for a normal visa, and then you can decide whether you want to apply for a normal or a fast track visa. Then there's another question, how and when do you update visa information and checklist on your website? Again, a very good question. We regularly update all the visa information and checklist on our website because our bread and butter is visas. So on a daily basis, we have visa submissions. Every time we go to a VFS center or an embassy, we realize there is a new document required which is not there on their website or on the checklist. We go and edit our checklist and ensure that our customers are aware that there is a change in the checklist of that country. So we regularly update it. Every time there is any new information that comes in, the checklist gets updated on our platform itself. There's a question from Shanti ji on charge for Canada visa. Shanti ji, you can actually go on our platform, sign up as a B2B agent. You will see the B2B price for Canada on the platform itself. Our service fee ranges from 100 rupees to around 1,500 rupees depending on the country that you're applying for. If it's a very simple e-visa like UAE, we charge as low as 100 rupees, but Canada is a more complicated visa, so our charges are closer to 1,200 rupees for Canada, over and above the actual embassy fee for Canada. I think I answered the question on service charges. Contact number of the sales team, I'll ask my team to put it on the chat. Otherwise, you can actually on your screen, you'll be able to see a few phone numbers. So you can actually reach out to our sales team on this number as well. Do we assist only Indian passport holders? Yes, currently we do only Indian passport holders. For UAE, there's a question from Shiv Kumar ji. For UAE, can we apply for visa for minor alone? Shiv Kumar ji, no. I mean, we can apply, but it will get rejected. The only way to apply for a UAE visa is to apply with a parent. Even if the parent is not traveling, it is fine. We'll still have to apply for their visas. The child can travel alone, but while applying for visa, we will have to apply it with a parent. We'll not be able to apply alone. Even if we do, like I said, it gets rejected most of the time. Unnecessarily, you'll have to reapply this case. Question on whether we are B2B or B2C. Currently, we do both. Honestly, though, 90% of our business is B2B, where we work with travel agents and larger OTAs. The B2C business that we have is only organically if there are some customers that want to come and apply. But most of our focus is 90% of our business comes from our B2B side of our company. Then I'll take another 4 to 5 questions and then wrap up. Can we get specific locations for US appointment for fast track appointments? This is a question from Bhavanji. Bhavanji, we can, but the more particular you are, the longer it will take us to find an appointment. If the customer is okay with any city, we'll be able to get you an appointment in the next 15 days. But if the customer says, no, I want it only in Kolkata and no other city, then it will take us longer to find an appointment. So if it's an urgent case, I would request them not to be too specific. If they are flexible, then we'll get it much faster. There's a question from Suhas on how often we update the checklist. I think I've already answered that question. Then there's a question from Salil ji on New Zealand, UK, and Cyprus visa. So you can actually go on our platform. You'll find all the information. Otherwise, you can call up our sales team. They'll give you the checklist also, and they'll help you with the whole process. Then there's a question from Chandraji on Singapore, Hong Kong visa process. Chandraji, Hong Kong visa is honestly the simplest visa. It comes through in less than a day. There's something called as a PAR. You apply for that online on our website. It comes through in one day. It costs us about 300 rupees on our website. The only catch in Hong Kong visa is that if you have passengers who are from Chandigarh, Haryana, UP, a lot of times Hong Kong visa gets rejected if they are from certain locations. If it gets rejected, then the process for Hong Kong is very complicated. You need to send the documents to the Hong Kong embassy in Hong Kong. So unless you have passengers from these 3-4 states, most other states the visa gets approved immediately. In less than a day, you can just apply on our platform and we can do it. There is a question from I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Alia Sagarji on Tanzania visa. So we don't do Tanzania visa yet. We don't even do it offline, but we'll take this feedback. We are launching new countries every month. So we'll ensure, if Tanzania visa is a big requirement, we'll get it launched in the next 1 or 2 months on the portal as well. There's a question from Vinitan, do we have special deals for group visas? Usually, if it's a small group, we do not. If it's a group of more than 50 plus passengers, we can work something out. You should reach out to our sales team, Vinita ji, and we'll figure out a way to see if we can give you any special discounts for larger group visas that you could have. Okay, let me look at the time. We have 2 minutes, so I'll just take 1 or 2 questions. There's a question from Asim ji on what financial documents do you need in case all the applicants are senior citizens or are unemployed? Good question, Asim ji. It depends from country to country. If they're senior citizens, they are currently retired, then we'll require their pension documents. Let's say they do not have pension documents. We'll have to explain in the cover letter why they do not have and what have they retired from. So we'll then require only their bank statements and their income tax returns. The other thing we can do for senior citizens or unemployed, our recommendation is to get them sponsored by somebody else in their family. So if they have a spouse or if they have children who have all their financial documents in place, we'll show it as being sponsored by them and we'll submit the documents. And again, in such cases, it's always good to draft a proper cover letter to explain why they do not have employment related documents. Let me see if there is a question that I have missed. There's a question on can we get today's presentation. We've actually recorded this presentation, Miss. So what we'll do is we'll share the recording with everybody. And you can always, again, if you have more questions, you can reach out to our sales team as well. But that's about it. Hopefully, I've answered most of the questions. In case I've missed some of the questions, I'm really sorry. I think we're running out of time. But you can always reach out to our sales team, and our sales team can answer some of those questions for you. Or you can reach out to our chat support as well. I think, Ajay, that's it. Thank you so much for helping us organize this webinar as well.
Well, thank you so much, Nikita, for actually taking us through this wonderful presentation on what Teleport is and what are your services that you would like to offer. And I would like to thank our partner Rishi, who has been single-handedly responding to all the queries in the chat section and the Q&A tab section. Obviously, as you can see, this is a very fantastic team. So you guys, please go ahead and log into Teleport's WhatsApp community. So to get regular updates on what are the issues, what are the solutions that you can get while being a Teleport partner. Apart from that, there is a fantastic offer that is being currently on. I would like to post it again here in chat, that you can get a sign-up voucher of 2,500 rupees. So it's been highlighted currently. You can make avail of this particular offer in the chat section. And I also would like to thank all our attendees for being so like attentive and submitting their queries, and so making this webinar as interactive as possible. And we look forward to your support as well as support to Teleport in the near future. Is there anything, Nikita, that you would like to add here?
No, no, no. That's it. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, guys. As Nikita mentioned, accurately, that we will be sure we have recorded this session, and we will be sharing this with for a replay session, replay session, which you can share with your team members as well, and ask them if they have any queries. As you can see, the sales the details of the sales people are already mentioned here, as well as their WhatsApp channel. So please feel free to submit your queries, and see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.